What's your name and where you're from?
My name is Shaya. I'm from Jerusalem. I live in Ramadan now.
Nice.
I work for the Israeli Philharmonic Orchestra.
Cool.
Play the viola. So I'm a professional musician.
How long have you been a professional musician for?
Since graduation, since I got out of the army. So for 8 years.
And you always knew you wanted to be a professional?
I always think I discovered it about myself when I was 15 or 16. That's what I want to do. I always loved music, but I didn't know I wanted. I didn't know I wanted, and I didn't know I could become a professional musician until that stage.
How'd you learn you wanted to do it?
I started studying with a very great teacher. Showed me that I can be better. So playing became easier, and I became a better violin player. So suddenly it seemed like a real thing that I can achieve.
And why do you like to play?
Something about being part of something bigger than you are. Because I'm playing in an orchestra, it's a different experience than when you're playing on your own. You're always part of something much bigger. And I get to play all the huge masterpieces that were written for orchestra, so it's very exciting.
Do you have a favorite?
I have a few.
So what are the few?
Brahms, Mahler, Sokovich, Beethoven, of course.
So tell me a bit more about your background. So you grew up here in Jerusalem?
I was born in Jerusalem. I grew up actually in Ma'ale Adumim. I studied here in Jerusalem music, and also my high school was here, and my first and second degrees were also in Jerusalem. My military service was also in Jerusalem, and then my first job was in the Jerusalem Symphony Orchestra. My parents made Aliyah in 91. Aliyah is when Jews decide that they want to go back to their homeland and become citizens of Israel. They made Aliyah separately. They weren't married back then, and they met and got married when I was born. They're not musicians, although my mom comes from a musical family, so that's the affiliation. My granddad is the one who started taking me to concerts, and it was the concert of the IPO. So it's very exciting that I'm playing for them now. My grandfather comes to concerts, and now we're still attending the concerts of the IPO. It's just now I'm on stage and
That's
he's
amazing.
in the audience. So
You must be very proud.
He is. He's incredibly proud, and he's also very, very happy for me that I have friends in the orchestra who are the top musicians in the country, who he respects as musicians as well. So for him, it's incredible.
How would you define happiness, and what makes you happy?
I guess happiness is when you don't have anything missing. You don't have to be rich, or you don't have to be have everything, but when you're satisfied with what you have. What makes me happy? Spending time with people I like, spending time with people who are important to me. Playing music, playing great music. I find myself on stage sometimes really enjoying the music I'm doing, and it makes me very happy. Of course, also getting small wins, successes in life, in whatever it is, whatever field. I always found many interests in life. I'm not only of course I'm a musician, but I also bake bread. And whenever a very successful loaf is being created, then I'm very happy about that. Or I also into computer programming, and sometimes when I can solve a bug, fun, and it makes me happy.
Do you believe in God? And if so, how has God played a role in your life?
I think of God as he exists. I do believe in God, but not a religious God. I don't think of any religion as being really I forgot the word in English. I don't think of any religion as being something that I use as to worship God. I think God exists outside of religion. I think it's a deity that somehow it's always the missing part that science can't explain. I think knowledge is infinite and God is there. Human beings will always know more and more and will discover more, but they will never know everything, and God is in that small part that people don't know what it is and can't explain nature. So I don't think God has anything to do with whatever I achieved. I don't think he influences my way of life. I don't think he takes lives. I don't think he brings life. I think so God is not something that is, so he exists, but he's not integral in my life. God doesn't dictate me how to live my life.
Is there a time in your life you had a really big challenge or struggle? How did you get through that, and what kind of kept you going?
I have a few. It's always also in different fields. For example, in the orchestra you need to go through trial, and after you got accepted, you still have a year or two that you need to go through trial. So they see that what kind of person you are, how you function in a group, in a collective, and it's stressful. And at one point I was not in a very good place, and some feedback that I got was, I didn't expect that at all. And it was quite shocking for me to get, and it really put the whole thing on the line. So I could lose my job.
Yeah.
I could lose my job in the idea.
So then how do you get through that?
I took a step backwards and tried to see between the lines, or like behind the words of what people were saying. Because of course I got some feedback, and people were saying some stuff, but it was very hard for me to understand what they meant until I took a step backwards and decided to look at the bigger picture and like try to see what's behind their words. Like where are they coming from? I don't think I changed myself to accommodate them, but I think the evolution I went through was important for me as a person. So this had to happen at some point or other, and I'm actually grateful for that, because I wouldn't have developed otherwise.
So how have you changed? What's different now?
I'm less stressful about human relations and communications. I was very much concerned about it, how I was perceived, and I just realized that maybe I can just let go, and what I have to offer is good enough, and not try hard.
What do you think makes a good relationship between two people?
A romantic relationship?
Yeah.
Communication. I think being honest with each other. Realizing that the person you're with has his own complete world. And that, of course, you build your relationship on trust and love and physical attraction, but also it's, they can be on their own, and they can have their own interests, and they can sometimes have challenges in their own life which has nothing to do with you, and you have to let them be who they are. And it's possible with communication.
Shaya, what's a dream of yours?
I have several. Like, one of them did come true, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for it. And it's like being accepted to the orchestra. I think my dream now is to find the one, and to build a family and have children, and also being able to support them and raise them the way I want, and provide them a safe space that I believe is necessary for raising children. But now my dream is more like family.
It's a good dream to have. And I hope you'll find it, that dream, and you'll accomplish it. It'll happen. What is something in your life you're most proud of?
I am really proud of getting accepted to the orchestra. I'm really proud of being able to develop friendships the way I couldn't when I was growing up. Since I skipped a grade, I didn't go to 5th grade. Right after the 4th grade, I went to the 6th. And it also happened in a very key phase of like my development, you know, the whole being teenager and adolescence and stuff. So it was very hard for me to have friends or make friends, and the way I'm making friends now, and the ease that I can make friends and start talking to strangers and mutual interests, and we become friends, and that's something that was really hard for me to achieve. And now I'm really proud of how it just happens.
Why was it hard to achieve?
Because I didn't know how to communicate, because the whole stage of like, you know, developing and going through the teenager years, that's the formative years of like human interaction. I found myself among people who were older than I by at least a year and a half, and they were already in a different stage of communication between them, because I was 10 years old, and they were already like 11 and a half, maybe 12 already. And so it's a big difference when you're that age, and I could feel it. I wasn't like this. I was always awkward.
Is there anything you're scared of in life?
Yeah, I'm scared that I won't be able to find the right person for me. I'm also scared that I won't be able to support my parents when they grow old.
Finding somebody, like, I guess a lot of people have that fear.
Yeah, but I think it got more essential. Yeah, so it became more real when a relationship that I thought was going to be like my last one, that I was going to marry that girl, and we actually saw a future together, when it ended. And then I find myself already 30 years old and trying to build something new, and it's very challenging. You realize that the older you get, the more baggage you have, and it's harder for people to accept it and to live with it. And it's not like I even got to that stage. I mean, for somebody else to like having to deal with my baggage. So of course it's been a long time since we broke up, so I'm over the relationship, but the feeling that now I have to start everything over, it's not nice. It's not pleasant. Because I wanted to be in a different state. I saw myself already in a different
Right.
place in my life.
Yeah, I think it's more high level seems like it's about finding somebody who's more generally speaking like you imagined, right, to be in a certain place in your life, and it's not as you planned, or
Yeah.
it's hard to hard pill to swallow in a way. Like you thought you'd be somewhere and you're like, no, I'm not. But I do want to say you are somewhere where you always wanted to be, which is
I am.
And I'm not discounting the challenges that come from the lack of other things, or other places that you want to be in your life. But me saying that is that if you can do that, I think, and you're determined that way, like I think
it's interesting because actually that friend from Paris who I've known for 15 years, she was the first one to say about me that I forget the word. I'm insatiable. She was the first one to notice that I'm insatiable. When it comes to professional achievements or professional areas, you won't call that being insatiable, you call that being ambitious. And you want everything and you can't have enough, so you're like always striving for more. And that ambition, I guess, got me to the orchestra, which is great. But when you have this kind of level of wanting in relationship, it doesn't work. It's only up to you. It's the only field in life where 50% of the situation is not under your control. And for someone who is probably a control freak, this is not a comfortable place to be in.
yeah.
So this being insatiable always projects out, and either it scares the person I'm getting to know, or they see me as an easy target and they lose interest because I'm being so insatiable. So like I'm easy to get. I'm not being hard to get because I show all my cards. I show how much I want to be with a person.
But I would assume the right person that for you is gonna like be so appreciative and like see all of it.
But it's always a game. And I think if I played my cards better, it would be easier for me. I just feel that most of the time I feel like I'm not playing my cards right and I'm losing the person. It's understandable. I mean, how can somebody who's a stranger be appreciative of this kind of...
They can, yes, they can.
No, I don't know. I've never experienced that.
You're saying you being open and you kind of putting all your like heart in a way into like building a relationship and getting to know somebody and sharing yourself, right? That for you think that's not something that people will appreciate or see or want.
Yeah.
I think the opposite. I think that's something that's really admirable, and I think the right person for you again will see that and like automatically I think appreciate that.
Well, show me that person because I didn't find her yet.
Yet. The word yet.
Yeah, well, it doesn't seem like I'm getting closer to meeting her. That first of all. Second of all, it's not only that. It's like also like being the initiator of everything. It's not being pushy, but it's not even giving a chance to the other person to show initiative or giving them a chance to miss me or chase me, And it's always like in retrospective, I can always like point to the moments where I could take a step backward just to let the other person take a step forward. But in real life, like in real time, I find it real difficult to do. I can reflect on that. I can say I was not behaving the way I wish I did, but I still did whatever I did. My actions were still my actions, and I can't go back and change them. It's what's the use of being aware? So either I'm doomed to having my heart broken, or I'm or being in a relationship where I'm not as involved emotionally, and then I don't have this feeling of constantly wanting more and being insatiable with the other person, because then I'm not as interested in them. So it's like a calm love. It's not like big waves and big excitement. It's just, it's calm, it's there. I like the person I'm with. It's fine. Like we have a few like common ground to build on, but it's not the falling in love thing, which I had sometimes, a few times, but
it doesn't seem like it has worked that way. So I wonder if
exactly
the alternative way that you just described could be actually a bit more like it could last longer. Maybe you learn about each other in a deeper, different way. It's not so high and up and down.
Well, why can't it be both ways?
It could.
And here's the insatiable Shaya talking, I want both.
Right.
I want to fall in love. I want to feel the butterflies, and I want a long-lasting relationship where we get to know each other slowly, and we develop the strong love that will eventually keep us together forever. So why can't I have that? Why can't I be excited about meeting somebody new and then her also like seeing the future together?
Yeah, I think you can. I think you should want that and keep wanting that. I don't think you have to give up something.
I think the easiest way to find it is stop looking.
So how will you meet this person?
Well, there's a difference between looking and being open to this happen. Like, so I can create the conditions where I meet that right person, but it doesn't mean I'm creating them. Like, it doesn't mean I'll do the stuff just to like meet somebody. Like, the bigger goal would be maybe expand my social life, meet new people. So that could be a goal through which then I can meet somebody new.
Yeah.
But that's really investing in myself, in my own happiness, in my own well-being. But it's but then it's not looking for something. It's not like it's not going to every girl I meet and asking her out.
For sure.
Which is kind of the situation when you're on the apps, because every girl you're matched with, it's quite clear like where this is going. It's not about social life, it's about dating, and there's a lot of pressure in that.
Yeah.
So you're not investing in your life, because we're actually wasting them on constantly seeing this fake abundance of people who might like you, who might not.
Right.
It's very superficial because it's based only on looks, which is important. Of course, looks are important. Like that's like the first thing that you notice about somebody. Then you always also have the constant feeling of failure on the apps, because if you think about it, every swipe right where you like the person and he didn't like you back, that's like a small failure. Like, this is okay, this person didn't like me, so this is like one more place where you failed in meeting the person you want.
But everybody's supposed to like you?
No, but then in real life you're not putting out yourself to so many people, and it's a different situation. Here it's like it's a micro failure every time you swipe right.
So Shaya, what gives you hope, whether in this area of your life or in general? You mentioned supporting your parents in the future. What kind of keeps you going and makes you hopeful?
In a way, despite all that I've said until now, I'm really confident in my capabilities. I don't think I've ever been pessimistic about anything. So keeping an optimistic mind eventually will bring the right results. I mean, it has to be that way, right? It's the energy you project. It's the thing that you're inviting into your life. So that's something I really strongly believe in. Like, if we were talking about God before. So I think energy and what you project is really important, and that's how people see you. And the thing you invite into your life as a person, that's important. Like, what do you wish for yourself, and how do you approach the whole thing? If you're positive about stuff, then it's easier to get.
Yeah.
It's much easier to get
Yeah.
when you're not stressed. For example, when I auditioned for the orchestra, I deep down knew I had two truths in my mind. First, I was good enough. Second of all, if I didn't win the audition, I'll be fine.
Yeah, you should think that way in other parts of your life. I think, and not just fine, you will thrive and still live an amazing life. And no matter what happens, like you said, it's the optimism, your perspective, and I think that can get a lot of people through.
Well, as human beings, we will experience bad stuff that will happen to us at one point or another. A death of a friend, or a death of a family member, like people die, or some failures in life which are more substantial than just, a date that didn't go well. Real stuff that really impact your life in a way that is not reversible. Of course, you're allowed to feel bad. And not only allowed, you have to allow yourself to feel bad.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't only experience good emotions all the time. So something about accepting the fact that it's okay to be sad also makes like the happy feelings more meaningful.
So my last question is, who is Shaya? Who are you? You could describe yourself.
I'm a musician. I'm optimistic. I'm a romantic. I'm curious. Always curious. I don't think I'm like the funniest person ever, but I think I'm funny, and I think the most important thing is I make myself laugh. Oh, I have something very catchy to say. I'm the most ordinary person you'll meet. Thanks.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks for talking. Thanks for sharing all you shared.
Do you want a few quotes for the future?
You want to say a quote or two? If you have a quote you live by that you want to share?
There's something I found about myself lately. First of all, if you do the wrong thing, do it right. Don't fry a schnitzel twice. If you smile, smile to yourself first.